What's going on, gamers? Today we're going to be talking about consistency in Valorant. I'm going to give you all the tips you need in order to stay consistent every single time that you queue into comp, helping you win more games and climb out of the rank that you're stuck in. But I'm not just going to cover how to be more consistent in game. I'm also going to be giving you some tips that you've probably never even thought about before or heard before. So I'd suggest sticking around for the whole video, because if you do, you're guaranteed to become a much more consistent player. With that being said, let's get right into it. So what is consistency? There's two types of consistency that I'm going to be talking about today. You have mechanical consistency and mental consistency. Although mechanical consistency is important, mental consistency is far more crucial, because it doesn't matter how well you're aiming. If your mental is off, you're not going to play well. First, I'm going to talk about something outside of the game that could be affecting your consistency. The way you're setting up when you're playing. You need to make sure that you're setting up the same way every single time you play. If you set up differently all the time, you're going to start to notice that you are very inconsistent, because even a change in your arm angle can drastically affect your aim and the way you play in game. So I would highly suggest sitting at your desk the same every single time you go to play, and make sure that you're not moving your monitor around, your keyboard around, your mouse pad around, and you're also not messing with the height of your chair or where your chair is relative to your monitor. A really good example of how impactful this is, think about a time where you've went and tried to play on someone else's setup. Probably close to impossible to play well, because you're not used to the setup. So if every single time you sit down to play, your setup is slightly different, it could have the same effect on your gameplay, because it's still a change. You just don't notice it as much because you're using the same monitor, keyboard, and mouse. But when it is set up differently, it's going to impact you. Remember that consistency breeds consistency. Now, for mechanical consistency, keeping in mind that consistency breeds consistency, make sure you're not constantly changing your settings. It doesn't matter if Pens or other pro players do it all the time. You are not them, so don't try to be. If you're constantly changing your sensitivity or resolution or anything like that, you will never be consistent, because your mind is going to have to constantly adjust to different things, which will throw you off like crazy. Even if you're having a bad game or a bad day, don't just rage switch your sensitivity or settings to something you've seen on TikTok because somebody said this sensitivity gives you aimbot. Newsflash, it doesn't. And all that's going to do is make you even worse in the long run. Find the settings that you feel comfortable on and do not change them. This is going to make you play a lot better and a lot more consistently. On top of that, you should also have a consistent warm-up that you do every single time before you play. If you're looking for a really good warm-up, I'll leave my link on the video and I'll put it in the description below, so you can go ahead and give it a try. Next, I'm going to be talking about the most important thing, and that is your mental consistency. This can be broken down into two different categories. The first one is mental fortitude, which is one of the biggest problems that people have. A lot of people's mental is so weak that one thing goes wrong and then it's just GG, go next. Like, really? What the fuck are you doing? You're not a child, so stop letting little things get to you. If you can't handle having a couple bad rounds, then you don't deserve to be playing this game at all. In Valorant, you can literally come back from a 12-0 deficit and win the game. So stop giving up as soon as things get tough or you miss a couple shots. A good way to work on this is to practice something called mindfulness meditation. Now, I know it sounds silly, but hear me out. There is a reason that monks are so chill, and people that do practice mindfulness meditation say that it has literally changed their lives. Because it works. And if you don't believe me, if you watch some of the pro teams before their games, they practice their breathing and they do meditations, and I guarantee you that they meditate and they're just not telling you. And as a bonus, meditation will also improve your focus, it's going to improve your reaction time, and it's going to make you a lot better of a player. So it's a win-win. A good way to start this is to go onto YouTube and look up mindfulness meditation. Or you can download an app like Headspace or Calm, although you might have to pay for those ones. You can start with 5 minutes a day and then work your way up. It's going to be hard at first, but if you're patient with it, I promise you, it's not only going to improve your mental and your gameplay, but your overall life as well. The second part of mental consistency is adaptability. I'm sure you've had it where some games you're completely destroying everybody. You're swinging on people, you're winning every gunfight, it seems like everything you do just seems to work. And then you win that game, you queue into the next one, you try to do the exact same thing, and you're getting absolutely destroyed and you bottom frag. So that begs the question, is it because you played worse, or was it because the enemy team was just exploiting what you were doing? This happens because every single game of Valorant is going to play out differently. One game, the enemy team might be better, and they may be doing things completely different than the team before, and now they're exploiting your playstyle. Or one game, you might just play against absolute chimps and be able to run the whole lobby. It's always a coin toss. Regardless, if you can't pick up on how the team you're up against is playing, you won't be able to adapt to it, and you might just find that everything you try is failing. And this happens because you only have one playstyle and they're just ready for it. A good way to fix this is to always be thinking 3 steps ahead of the enemy team, which means you need to be watching how they're playing. You need to be actively thinking about how you're going to play and how you're going to counter it. Make sure to pay attention to what the enemy team's doing. Are they constantly holding the same angle? Are they baiting for their own teammates? Are they faking sights? Are they hard pushing? Are they sending a lurker? What are they doing? Pay attention, and then once you do this and you see a trend in what they're doing, then you can either try to exploit it yourself, or even better, you can tell your team about it and you guys can come up with a way to play around it. Depending on the rank you're in, people are going to be very predictable, but once you get into the higher ranks, they won't be as predictable. Then you have to be thinking even harder. What truly makes a good player consistent is their ability to play well in whatever environment they're in. And the only way you can truly do that is learning how to adapt to different situations on the fly. This is going to take some time, but the more you do it and the more you play, the better you're going to get at it. And quickly, before I give you the last bonus tip, which is something I promise you've never heard before, who is your favorite agent right now and why? Let me know in the comments down below. Now, the secret tip that's going to help you become a lot more consistent in Valorant is you need to be exercising and you need to be eating proper food to fuel your body. Now, I know what you're thinking, we're talking about gaming, why does this matter? Hear me out. Exercise is going to help improve all of these things, which are going to directly correlate with your in-game performance. Not only that, but anyone who actually exercises and plays games will tell you that if they haven't trained for a little while, they're extremely inconsistent and play terribly. This happens because when you start taking care of your body, it's going to work a lot better than if you were to just sit around and do absolutely nothing. Now, I'm not saying you have to go crazy and be a bodybuilder or anything like that, but exercising routinely anywhere from 3 to 6 days a week, doing some cardio and some weightlifting is not only going to do wonders for your gameplay, but it's going to quite literally transform your entire life as well. Additionally, if you're constantly eating garbage food, your body will inevitably start playing like garbage. It might not happen right away, but over time, it is going to happen. And the food that you put into your body can have massive effects on your energy levels, focus, and mental clarity. So if you don't have a good, well-rounded diet, some days you may play well because you properly fueled your body, and the next you're going to play like shit because the food you ate is making you sluggish and slow. And here are some good examples of foods you should incorporate into your daily routine if you want to stay healthy and on top of your game. Remember, you don't have to always eat perfectly, but if you follow an 80-20 rule each day, where 80% of the time you're having good, healthy foods, and then 20% of the time you're having some things you like, this is not only going to improve your gameplay, but your overall quality of life as well. You need to take into consideration that moving your body and fueling your body properly is going to help your body perform better. And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter what you're doing, your body is what's doing the actions, and your mind is controlling your body. So if your mind and your body are fueled and they're performing at their best, you're going to always play at your best. But if you're not taking care of yourself, you can't expect to play your best because you're not even giving yourself a real shot. Do not sleep on the effectiveness of exercise and nutrition. I know it's just video games, but this is very important. It's something that doesn't get talked about a lot, but if you start to do it, you will get ahead of everybody else because you're going to actually be able to play at your best. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you got any value out of this video, or you want to see videos like this in the future, feel free to hit that like button, sub to the channel, and ring that bell notification so that you can stay ahead of every other gamer and unlock your full potential. Much love, guys. Hopefully I'll see you in the next one.